Hello, this video will be on links and repeating groups in Bubble. It's a subscriber request to keep them coming. And the goal here is to link to just one or just several posts of this long repeating group. So we want to create a URL, and when we go in this URL, we only see this one cell of the repeating group, or maybe only 4 particular cells. Okay, let's go first through the database. So we've got categories here, all about me, applications, links, contact info, my work external. So these are all rows in the category table. And then here we have a table called preset questions, where each row is one question. So what are the main evaluation criteria? What is this product about, etc. And what we want to accomplish is that if we copy this link and paste it here, you see at the top the unique ID. And when we click, we only want to see that one question. And we see it here. Or if we click About Me, we want to actually only see questions of that one category called About Me, and not all the other ones. And for all, we do want to see actually all. But how do we do that? So we use a state. A state is a list of things, because this state allows us to set it depending on the URL parameter. And we can also, therefore, load different things depending on the state at page load. So what we did here is we went on the entire page. We went to the eye, we clicked questions and created a state of a list of preset questions. This is the data type here. Okay, and then this repeating group holds the state. So this is, we save the state under the page, so that's why it's here, and then it holds the questions, this list of things. And now we have to tell it on page load to do certain things depending on the URL, whether the URL contains cat, so category equals, question equals, so a singular question, or nothing. Okay, so what we do here is we first set the state to be all questions, so on page load. So we can also click the empty box when page is loaded, then set the state of the element of the page questions to show all questions when the URL parameter is empty, and for the question as well as the category. That's the first kind of easy step. Now, if instead we do have a question here, then what we want to do is we want to show just that one question. But a repeating group is for a list of things, and a question is just one thing. So how do I do that? So in this case, we do when get question is not empty, but the category is empty. We now tell it, and I'm going to do this again, to do get data from page URL. We do question, and then we do preset question. But now it will tell you that this is not a list, but a singular preset question. So now we use converted to list, and then this way we can only show one question if this is true. That's already very helpful. Okay, the next one is if you only want to share the about me questions. So in this case, category equals. And so here what we do is we search for all preset questions with a category get cat from page URL. So it takes the category, the unique ID from the page URL, and shows only questions which kind of fit together with this search. We do that when the get category is not empty. And lastly, you may have noticed that one of the categories is all. So how do we show all questions when we have the category all up here? So the way we do this is we tell it when the category is not empty, but the category's text is all. So we take the category from the URL and we find out what the text is, whether it is about me, applications, or all, but only in the case it's all, we then want to show all preset questions and not just the ones with a category from the page URL. So that way we will see all questions. Now, the next question you might ask is, why is all on the left? Because actually about me is alphabetically before all, and applications is after all. So we did not actually sort it according to the alphabetically, but according to an order number. So if you go over to categories in the data types, we will see that there's a number, the order number, and we gave the category all, the order number 0, and the next one, the order number 1, 2, 3, etc. Now, you might also ask, because we really like asking questions in this class, how do we get this button to work or this button to work? So when we click this button, how do we come up with this URL? We have here the Air Copy to Clipboard plugin. We installed it, and now we added a workflow over here to this icon, and we tell it to copy to clipboard a certain text. Which text? Website home URL, bubble vids, because that's the page name, and then question mark, question equals. So question mark, question equals, and then current cells, preset questions, unique ID. So of that cell, whatever cell we're clicking, of that cell, of that question, the unique ID, because this unique ID is again what is used on page load to show the right question by looking at if the parameter contains question and then finding that question using the unique ID, because Bubble uses unique IDs to identify things in searches. Okay, and we do the same for our categories, just so you can have a look at the workflow here. We just tell it to do cat equals current cells categories unique ID. So this way we can easily display just one item in a repeating group, the one item we ask for in the link. Now you might also be on mobile. So another way of going about this is using do when condition is true. So we click the empty box, click this, and then let's enable this workflow again. So when question from page URL is not empty, then we want to show a pop-up, and in the pop-up show the right preset question, again getting that question from page URL. So when we do that now, we have question equals, so it will now open also not only a question here, but also the pop-up. And here we could of course also display more data, not just the question, but also all its answers, for instance. Okay, I hope this video helps. For short tips on Bubble, check tiplister.com, and please subscribe to help support this channel. Cheers.